Greetings, metalheads. Welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm talking about a couple of new releases, or re-releases, reissues, in fact. We've got two superb albums here. Benchmark freaking albums that are absolute all-time favourites of mine from one of my favourite bands. Absolutely, without a doubt, one of my favourite bands, one of my favourite artists, one of the most influential artists in heavy music. Of course, we're talking about the most stunning Triptykon, with two reissues of their only two full-length albums. This absolute gem, the debut, and I'm probably going to mispronounce because, hey, they're not the most straightforward to pronounce, but Eparistera Daimones, the debut album, regardless, from 2010, and then the second and I guess most recent studio album from the band, the glorious 2014 Melana Chasmata. Triptykon, if you're not familiar with who Triptykon are, they are a Swiss extreme metal band. Difficult to really pigeonhole them, and they don't need to be pigeonholed. Triptykon are just stunning. I would say they kind of sit in the Death Doom world, perhaps, but there's so many more flavours and twists and turns to this band. But of course, it's masterminded by the one and only Tom G. Warrior, Thomas Gabriel Fischer, that absolute mastermind, genius responsible for Hellhammer, for Celtic Frost, for Triumph of Death, and also Triptykon. Absolute legend, one of my heroes in music. I absolutely have total respect for that guy. He's a genius. And these two albums, I know it's almost a bit cliche to say, but these albums have had a huge impact on me. I didn't hear the debut in 2010, I must admit. I think my first encounter with Triptykon it must have been 2013 or 2014. I was actually trying to think long and hard about exactly when it was. I can remember I'm pretty sure it was hearing Shatter, which was the EP, the accompaniment to the debut album, which unfortunately we don't have that reissued. That would be a great one to have reissued, maybe in time. But Eparistera, as I'm going to refer to it as, was released first, then Shatter followed, and from that I was absolutely freaking hooked. And I'm pretty sure that I heard that just prior to Melana Chasmata. I'm pretty sure I actually pre-ordered Melana Chasmata. I've talked about Triptykon here on the channel many times. I love them. They are a band you absolutely need to hear, and they are one of the first bands that I covered in the Bands You Need to Hear series. They are exceptional. They are an incredible assembly. Excellent musicians. Absolutely brilliant through and through. When they announced that these albums were going to be reissued on double vinyl, various variants thereof, I knew I was going to have them. Both of them, unfortunately, pre-order available through Amazon and all the other big outlets. It was really, really freaking expensive, I must admit. I did manage to source them at a more reasonable price. Unfortunately, Eparistera was through Amazon. It was about £25. Melana Chasmata I got from a different site, and it was about 30. So, I think it was EMP, but they're quite pricey. But actually, I will say, what you get for that money is well worth it, because not only are they both stunning albums, well over the hour mark, they've done such a great job here. So the reissues are through Century Media, get my words out, and Prowling Death Records. And they have done a glorious job here. As I say, both are double albums, gatefolds. You get that full H.R. Geiger, the late legendary H.R. Geiger artwork here, and it's stunning. These are such great packages. They have done a great job here, And I'm going to go through the full package. So not only do you get lovely gatefold, let's open this up, you also get very nice printed inners with full artwork on. So cool. And in fact, I did keep the little sticker that was on the front of the cellophane there. I always like to, if I can, find a discreet little spot to put it. So this is 72 plus minutes. Gatefold LP edition on lilac coloured 180 gram vinyl, including 2 posters. So let's just show you this very, very nice colour variant. And there are other colours available, I think, through various different websites. I think EMP had different ones, but, you know, different versions, different prices. There we are, very cool. I've always said that I'm going to get that version of their logo tattooed one day. It was, I think, my second tattoo was in fact their other alternative logo. So I've had that for many, many moons, but you also get some awesome posters. Awesome posters. So I probably won't put these up just because I don't want to spoil them. I'm a bit weird like that. But this is Triptykon, and this was by Vincent Castiglia, 2009. Very cool. So you've got kind of like almost a bit of a demonic reptilian looking line up there. Very cool. So that is Eparistera disc 1 and poster. Then let's have a look at the other side. We've got yet more printed inner and more posters, or another poster, I should say. This one, another great printed inner. Nice big bold logo. And actually what I should have shown off in the other inner as well is that you've got all of the lyrics nicely laid out, and then you've also got a bit of a few words from Tom G. Warrior as well, describing what the song's all about. And it's just great because it really just puts the whole thing together. The lineup was actually completed by Norman Lonhard on drums, great drummer. You've got V. Centura, fantastic guitarist, also does vocals as well. Not all of the vocals, but formerly of Dark Fortress, brilliant musician though, and excellent producer. And then we've got, I think it's Vanya Slayer, I'm not really sure on the pronunciation, I do apologise, on bass. And then there's other contributing artists as well. So it's just the same colour scheme there, but that is just so awesome. And another very cool poster. So this is actually the full artwork. H.R. Geiger, the late great. Painted is, this is Vlad Tepes. Painted in 1978. Creepy stuff. You just can't get past the whole alien iconography there. So that is Eparistera. Absolutely fantastic. If we're going to talk about some of the music, only very briefly, it's more about the versions, but it kicks off with 2 amazing, like soul-crushing, just mind-blowing tracks, Goetia and Abyss Within My Soul. 10 minutes plus a piece. It's just absolutely stunning. Heavy, absolutely. That's kind of Death Doom stuff there. Drone, Tom G's Warriors, iconic vocals. It just sounds amazing. Then we get the absolutely just stunning soul imploding again, just spiritual brilliance of Enshrouded Decayed. Then we get the Shrine interlude piece there, the heavier up-tempo 1,000 Lies on there as well. Descendant, Myopic Empire, again, brilliant stuff. My Pain is absolutely harrowing and could reduce you to tears if you're open enough to it. And then the closing 19-minute plus epic, crushing heaviness, absolutely brilliant spiritual epic that is The Prolonging. Glorious stuff. So that is Eparistera, absolutely stunning, freaking love it. I wouldn't be able to choose which was my favourite album between Eparistera and Melana Chasmata. They are both absolutely glorious. Of course, again, stunning gatefold with that amazing Geiger artwork. Such cool packages. And I have actually played both of these on the turntable, and they sound amazing. I was a little bit kind of apprehensive, I must admit, but great lineup shot here on this inner. That's our lineup. The legend himself, alongside Vanya and V Centura, and I take it that is Norman. This variant, I really like, actually. Can't quite recall the exact colour name, but it's like a deep blood red. It's heavy duty, awesome vinyl. So cool. As I say, they've done brilliant jobs with these ones. So just pop that back in there. Almost makes you itch, it being exposed. Poster 1, just like with Eparistera, we have got the full original artwork piece here in all its glory, in all its creepy, creepy glory. So this is Mordor 7, 1975. Very cool. And then actually I've got the other poster here. This is an interesting one. We've got symbols, and then we've got some artistic photographs of the band. Very cool. There's some more very nice posters. It's just like with the Celtic Frost reissues and the Hellhammer reissues that we've got, and even the Triumph of Death release, the live album, Resurrection of the Flesh. Absolutely freaking stunning. They've done such a great job here. And, you know, you get all these extras as well, trying to carefully negotiate that out there. More shots of the band. More cool stuff there. Of course, it's just the same colour. But in this one, we have a rather large book as well. 16-page book. And within it, you get some amazing artwork. It covers all of the lyrics, and again gives you a bit of narrative and background to each of the tracks. This is obviously a much bigger, expansive booklet. Don't get a booklet on Eparistera, but so cool. Absolutely glorious. In particular, look at that. That's terrifying. That's particularly eye-catching. But this album, I absolutely love this album. I think it's amazing and remarkable just how similar the two albums are in terms of consistency. It doesn't sound, Melana doesn't sound like it's just, you know, reworking the tracks of the debut. Not at all. There's no kind of repetition, yet it does sound like a brilliant continuation. Sounds like there's a lot of continuity in what they were looking to achieve, the sound that they were looking to achieve, and what they were looking to do with that music. Of course, it's been 11 years now since the second album, since Melana Chasmata was released. So who only knows what Triptykon would sound like in 2025. There have been rumblings for many years that the band is working on new material, or that they're going to do something. I think that Tom G. Warrior, by his own admission, has said that a lot of the delay has been because he's been focusing on Triumph of Death, on Hellhammer, working on the other reissues of Celtic Frost. I guess he's been distracted, and that's totally understandable. Can't wait to hear what comes next. But Melana Chasmata, some days it's my favourite, other days it is my second favourite, or joint first. But it kicks off with a gloriously heavy track, Tree of Suffocating Souls, which is almost like thrash pace when it kicks off anyway. Then we get the absolutely stunning, again, it is so spiritual, it's so ambient, melancholic, atmospheric, Boleskine House. Apologies on the pronunciation if that's wrong. Where with some beautiful female vocals in there, incredible stuff. Altar of Deceit, another glorious moment. Breathing, absolutely fantastic. Aurora, absolutely glorious. That is the slow pace, powerful, beautiful track. I absolutely love that. Demon Pact is unsettling. It is demonic. It is freaking demonic. It's like this tribal sound to it. It's very, very interesting. In the Sleep of Death, Black Snow is a Death Doom drone masterpiece. And then the closing, epic. Not as epic as the Prolonging in terms of length, but just a great track. Waiting. It is just such a big sound. Freaking love it. So that's just a very brief assessment of the songs. You really need to hear both of these albums. And what I will admit, I do periodically, not all the time, but I will listen to both albums back to back. Debut, Eparistera, then Melana Chasmata. And it's just like a journey. It is freaking fantastic. Vocals are amazing. Tom has such an iconic vocal style, and when he does his more kind of like spoken words or clean sung passages, he's got such a deep booming voice. He just sounds great. Vicentura sounds brilliant. He does the more kind of like screeched vocals, more of a black metal style, and that is great. The bass work is thunderous and prominent, and the drums are brilliant. So all round, it's a freaking win. But these packages are so, so good. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to say, yes, these are worth the money. Yes, Triptykon is still a band you need to hear. Yes, you need to get familiar with both of these albums because they are amazing. Absolutely incredible. So there we have it. Triptykon 2025 vinyl reissues from Prowling Death Records, Century Media Records, Eparistera, Melana, both are stunning. If you like the latter work of Celtic Frost, or even the kind of to Megatherion era monotheist Celtic Frost, you're gonna absolutely love this. If you love Hellhammer, you're gonna love these albums. If you just love amazing, soulful, spiritual, heavy music, Triptykon, need to check them out. What are your thoughts on Triptykon? What are your thoughts on these albums? What are your thoughts on these reissues? Very interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others on this one, of course. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this humble review. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good, heavy things. Till next time, take care of yourselves, listen to Triptykon, and stay freaking heavy.